Okay, I'm going to make 2 round light things that will go around a candle or a LED light, and I've got some acrylic or crystals basically that are kind of an orange color, and I'm going to need about 13 ounces. I don't want to fill the tray to the max, which is 24. I'm only going to go about halfway, and then I've got a couple of coasters that I'll finish out the resin with. So I've got probably 32 ounces of resin, medium viscosity, counterculture. So it looks like this. It has the yellow and green label. So I've mixed maybe about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces with Quicksilver by Etsy Funshine Color Shop. That's in that. And then I'm going to do different larger cups. I'm going to do a burnt orange and a golden yellow and a little bit of a deep red, and then I'm going to have some clear. So I'm going to do the most of the burnt orange and the golden yellow, and then leave clear. I did a bowl, and I'm trying to kind of match it to that basically. So the deep red is the least, and I'm going to use this RESIN metallic blushing pink. So I'm just going to get some pigment on the end of my stick. You don't need a lot. I'm going to start with that rosy pink. Also make sure to scrape that pigment off the end of your stick and get that mixed in really well. And this is really pinker than I want, so I'm actually going to add a little bit of tangerine Bombay ink to that. And then I'm going to take my largest cup and put a good amount of that in there. Go ahead and stir this in. I've got my stopwatch that I started after I mixed, because I do want to keep an eye on the time. I want it to kind of thicken up a bit, so I don't want to pour it right away. And that's still pretty transparent. I'm going to take this yellow ochre, put it in the other cup. I'll stick a little in that tangerine color. I'm also going to add a drop of crimson to that burnt orange and to the other, so that deepened it, which is what I wanted. And then I'm also going to add some brown alcohol ink to that. So that made it more like a burnt orange. I'm still going to put a little bit more tangerine in it. I want it a little bit stronger pigmentation. Go to this yellow ochre and mix this really fast. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in it. A bit more ochre. Maybe just a drop of the tangerine. So I get my color where I want it. Add a bit more clear to that. And I'm also going to add some alcohol ink to this. Yellow. I'm also trying to remember what I did when I mixed the colors for the bowl, because I did it probably 3 weeks or so ago. I don't remember exactly. And then I'm going to decide if I'm going to add shimmer. My hands are feeling it today. I painted for about 4 hours on a dog portrait. So this stirring makes my hands tired. Back to the deep red. I'm going to add some brown alcohol ink. Add a little yellow alcohol ink. A couple of drops. A little bit more brown. So it looks about like the color I mixed, the bowl there. I think I added some Sparkle Minor Gold to the yellow, so I'm going to put just a little in it first. And I'm not mixing it over the tray because then the mica flies around. That gives it some shimmer. And I think I'm going to add just a touch to the orange, burnt orange. I'm at 10 minutes. Just gives it a tiny bit of shimmer. This already has shimmer because it's metallic. Also, I have some little tiny crystals that I may put into the this piece here. I'll add a little bit to this silver. So now I'm just going to wait a little bit time-wise. I'm at 14 minutes. I'm going to wait till about 20. So I'm going to pause it and I'll be back. Okay, I'm at 18 minutes. I am going to go ahead and start it. It is warming up, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and pour it. And of course I need to save some for the coasters. I'm going to pour this right over these gems here, and it'll level out. And I want those gems to be at the very bottom. It's going to help form the base of the light as well. I'm going to put just a little bit of clear. This kind of gives a nice effect to it as well. I'm going to go ahead and heat this first. And I've got some silver. I'm going to pinch it. Kind of just going off the edge because I don't want a big petal. So I am wasting a little bit. Okay. Don't want any major petals. I'm not going to use the silver, I don't think, but I do have some clear. So again, I'm just going to go through. I quite like that. So you just direct it in the way you want it to go. And then it'll sink. The cool thing about this is you turn it upside down, it'll drain out onto your silicone mat, and then you just peel it off. I like to wipe off my sticks, and then they cure with whatever resin's left, and you can use them over and over again. I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out, but I am really loving it. I'll wait about 5 hours, and then I'll come and form it into these cone shapes that will make like a light cover, and you'll understand once I finish the project. You can also kind of push them down. It's been 36 minutes, so it's definitely been quite a while as far as waiting. So I'm just shifting because when I sprinkled, maybe got heavy in particular areas, so I'm just kind of trying to distribute it a little bit more. But again, those little crystals are just kind of holographic, and basically they're just providing texture. quite lovely. Spritz it with alcohol, that'll get any last bubbles. Now I'm going to cover it. And I'll be back in about 5 hours. Okay, I waited too long. I probably should have checked it about an hour ago, and I think I made it too thick. I'm going to see if I can bend it, and I may not be able to bend it without breaking it. But I love the look of it. Now see that this would be the inside of it, so the back is nothing special. If nothing else, I'll make pretty trays, but that was not what I had intended. So again, I waited just probably an hour too long. So I'm going to try to heat it and bend it. We'll see what happens. So it did work. Actually, I'm going to put plastic around it just to protect it in case I don't want it getting the tape sticking to it. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so that if you put like an electric lamp in, you'd have room to put the cord through. It worked. Okay, on this one, I've got some cracks, but once it's cured, I can put UV resin in and seal in the cracks. We're going to let these sit I'm probably going to let this sit for 2 days, 48 hours to let it fully cure, and then I will have to repair the crack in the one, or it may, as it cures, it may crack a bit more, but I will use the UV resin with a UV light and put bits and pieces in and cure it right on the spot, and it will be as strong and as good as new. So this is the bowl that I'm making these 2 pieces to go with, and I use the yellow gold, the burnt orange, and that deeper red and silver, and this is over 20 inches across. It's pretty large, kind of an oval shape. It was a freeform bowl that I made, and I will have maybe posted the video of this before posting this one, so you can see how I made it. So this is the inspiration piece to go with these lights. I'll be back. Okay, I've waited a couple of days for these to really cure really hard, and again, these didn't come out really the way I wanted them to. They're just pretty nondescript, so I'll use them later to paint on. That's what I do with my resin coasters that I'm not pleased with. Let's get busy to reveal these. You always want to use something glossy, shiny against your resin when it's not fully cured, just to make sure that it doesn't make any part of your resin kind of a matte finish. or dull. Yeah, so I have just a little bit of a gap right here, and yeah, this will probably, now that it's untaped, it'll probably relax a bit over the next few days. But there'll be a little gap here in case they want to put an electric light inside. But I'll be putting LED candles in here that are about 6 inches tall, which I think will be really great. Isn't that pretty? And see the orange, I didn't want the orange to be bright orange, and that's why I used the deep red over it in the resin, and that deepened up the color of the glass pieces, so you can totally change the look of your glass by just adding color to it. This is the one that had some cracks in it. So I'm going to show you really quickly how I'm going to repair that. This one opened up a little bit more. It's got a little bit more of a gap. You can see pretty close. This one I didn't crack at all. Maybe this one I maybe pushed it a little bit too hard while I was heating it. So if you're doing that to shape something, do it very gradually, be gentle with it. That's probably why I cracked it. My mixing container, I use the bendable plastic, and what that does is when you bend it, you just get your resin started. It peels out and you have a nice clean cup again, and you know, any drips down the side you just peel off. But super easy. I don't like the silicone ones that are flexible. They don't clean out as easily, so I like the plastic. Again, this one doesn't have ounces. I bought one that didn't have ounces. It had every other kind of measurement, so I had to write it in with a black Sharpie, you know. So there's my leftover resin. So again, let me zoom out a bit. This is the large, very large, kind of an oval, freeform resin bowl. And this will be with it as a set. I'm doing this for a friend, and then she's giving it to her daughter who just moved into a new place. And so this will be a gift. And I'm probably going to paint the top edges with my silver, absolute best silver out there, liquid chrome. It looks like chrome, and there is no other silver pen out there, paint pen, Liquitex, any brand that compares to this, in my opinion. It looks like shiny mirror chrome. I'm going to use UV resin, and this is the UV lamp that comes with it as a set at Counterculture. I also have a little light like this, but it's new and I haven't put batteries in it yet, so I'm going to use this one. So this one, it just plugs in, it's electrical, and there's a cool feature on it. And let me plug it into I have to plug it into a charging cube. I'll get tape just in case I need it for the resin to not seep through to the other side. So with this, there's a power button, and it goes to 30 seconds. You hit it one more time and it goes to 60 seconds. Or turn it off. If you just press and hold, it will stay lit for several minutes. So that's the secret little tip, that if you want to stay a long time, like indefinitely, you just press and hold, and then of course turn it off until the lights go off when you're finished. So this one is good. I'm going to move it out of the way. This one, Didn't really crack too much on the inside, so I'm gonna still take a piece of blue painter's tape, and I'm gonna tape it underneath. And on the side, and that's going to be my barrier so that no resin were to go through, drip down, or anything like that. This will stop it from going anywhere. And I can just fill this a little bit at a time. I'm going to fill it with resin. Zoom in for you a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tape the other one too while I have the tape. I'm going to tape it right on the edge here, and I'm going to just do one little quick layer right in here. You can even use a paintbrush if you need to, if that helps you to get into a place, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to use a paintbrush that I can technically throw away if I need to. That's not a good paintbrush. Like, this is a little paintbrush I have, and the bristles, let me see how they're splayed out. It's no good anymore. This is a good one to use for that. I'm actually going to take a little cup. This has a screw off cap. So this is already pre-mixed. All you do is just use it straight out of the bottle. I'm using a paintbrush to get a little bit more control. And I'm going to just paint with my brush. Pretty healthy little strip of resin. I'm just going to kind of fan it out so it kind of blends in with the shape. It's on the inside so you don't really see it. I'm going to press and hold, and then I'm just going to point those lights right at that and let it sit for a few minutes. And this will not cure on you like really fast. You could probably also take alcohol after you're finished with it and just clean it up with alcohol while it's wet, and then you can reuse it again. Again, this is the UV lamp by Counterculture. This is a 4-ounce bottle, which I've had for quite a while, and I just use it for touch-ups, and it's been lasting forever. There's 8 ounce, I think, and larger too. Great for quick touch-ups. Okay, so now I'm turning over. This is the big crack. And see, already since I've untaped it, it's opened up a little bit, which is totally fine. So I'm gonna start filling this in. Start using the bottle first. I'm not going to do it all at one time, just so it has a chance to seep down into it. Again, I'm pressing and holding. Okay, so I think I've patched in pretty good the cracks. They're not totally invisible, but you don't see it much unless you're really, really looking for it. I'm gonna put this aside for a minute. So I've got 3 coasters that hold about 2.5 to 3 ounces of resin each, and I've mixed up my colors that I used in the other pieces. And I also went around the top edge. I didn't do all silver because I just want it to be a hint of silver. But you basically just take the tip and like you just run it around the edge. I had taken something off right there. This little piece of a crystal. But you just run along the edge. It does really well at kind of making its own straight line if you've got a semi-steady hand. And if you go over the edge, you can use a little bit of alcohol right away to remove it and then, you know, redo it. So I'm loving these. I'll show you pictures with the lights in them. And I'll be back to show you the coasters. Okay, I'm going to unmold even though it's not been 4 hours. Kind of weird, kind of plain on this side. Weird and interesting. Okay, funky. Whoa. So there's that side. It's got a little depth to it because you can kind of see through the clear, but anyway. I'm going to let them finish curing. Make sure I didn't lay it on anything so it won't stick. And I'll be back to show you the finished results.